Hi, everyone. It is Danielle Marie from the One Realty here in Austin, Texas. It is finally a week. It's finally a breather here in Austin. We just wrapped up with our 3 month of absolute craziness. If you know anything about it, we have ACL, so Austin City Limits, the first 2 weeks in October. Then we roll straight into F1s, the big F1 races out at COTA. We just finished up this weekend, so it feels like Austin might be coming, a little bit back to normal, what we expect. We're still in all of our football mode, UT. From this past weekend, it was a little rough, but we're going to come back. We always come back. We've got a team that really cheers for it. So what am I here to do today? Well, let's talk about what has happened over the past week. It's a little bit longer. I normally like to do these on Tuesday, but life happens, things happen. So we're here today, but we're going to talk about what's happened this past week. We're going to compare it to the prior weeks. And then also one of the big things is interest rates. What has happened with interest rates in Austin, Texas, or just across the US, but how has it affected us here in Austin, Texas? So first and foremost, let's look at as far as the data that we have in regards to what number of houses have gone pending. And I'm putting this up front because if we talk about one of the most important things is, yes, we've got inventory, yes, we've got sales, but the pending numbers are really going to give us the projections of what's going to happen as far as our closed numbers, as well as how fast our active inventory is being eaten up, or we say as far as turned over too. So to give you an idea, I've been tracking it every week since September when rates first fell. The beginning of September when rates were higher in the sixes, we were looking at 124, 127 houses per week. Then we went to 137, then 144. Last week when we did it, it was 147 houses. And so even though I'm delayed on this reporting, I'm literally still going to only give you what happened from Tuesday of last week to Monday of this week, because we really want to keep the data the same. If you've learned anything, especially when you go back into science, we want to keep our controls the exact same way. So from 15 October to 21 October, we had 153 houses go pending in the city of Austin. So we're not talking about the Austin Metroplex. We're not talking about the Lake Travis area, Bee Cave. We're not talking about Round Rock and Leander. We're not talking about Kyle and Buda, San Marcos, all those areas. We're talking specifically about the city of Austin. If you want to know more information about different cities that are in the surrounding areas of Austin, feel free to reach out if you're following me. Save this post so that you have it in the future, or save it so you can compare it to what's happening next week. But with that being said, we had 153, so 6 more houses compared to last week. I'd say the fact that we have F1, which is, if you know anything about the ISA racing, it's a huge event here in Austin. We've had lots of people in and out of Austin. We also had the big UT Georgia game here. So maybe not as many people looking at real estate, but the fact that we had more houses go pending, as well as we are going into those October, November, December months. So as we get later in the season, we normally would see our numbers of pending drop down. We're not really seeing a drop down, but then again, we are starting at a complete deficit. And we'll kind of talk about how the market's been this past year. So good news is we have a few more houses going pending. I can say I'm very happy because I have got 2 of those. It was a good week to have a couple back-to-back ones. With that being said, let's talk about our active listings. So the number of active listings, if we look at today on the market, we have 2,929. If we compare this to last week, it's a decrease of about 64 houses. Now, we know it wasn't an increase of 64 houses going pending. That just means that we just had a little less active inventory. We also might have had people now taking their houses off the market for the winter months. They're withholding them, or maybe the listing has expired. Typically, we see a lot of listings that will start expiring here in the winter. If you are a buyer, there might be some opportunity there. Reach out, because sometimes we look at those houses that were taken off the market. They thought, I can't sell them at all. Who knows what kind of offer that you can make that might make them move. With that being said, our average list price of all those houses, those 2,929 homes, is $1.172 million. Our median, and compare it to last week, that was actually an increase of it's 8,000. So very different. For the average, doesn't really change anything. But our median stayed the same. Our median list price here in Austin, Texas is $699,000. Now, That's a lot if you look at it all. But at the same time, people are saying, oh my gosh, I can't even find a home. Well, that's the median price of over 2,900 homes. It's almost 3,000 homes. So you're talking, there are almost 15, there are 1,400 something odd homes. They're under that 699. And let me tell you, you go all the way down to some of the houses, you get some of those houses in the low twos, threes, just depending on what you're looking for. And that's in the city of Austin. As you go down to Buda, Kyle, I've got investors that are going out to, especially Bastrop, because of all the development that's happening out there with Elon Musk. We're seeing people go out that way. So with that being said, let's also look at what's happened the past 7 days. So the past 7 days, up to today, the 24th, as far as the number of new homes that have hit the market. So 175 homes hit the market. If we compare that to last week when we did this, it's 30 homes less. So we are seeing a decrease in the volume of houses coming to the market, which is, I say, normal. This happens every year at this time. Our average list price is at 1.089 million as far as what came in for the average. So it is lower than our total average of all of the houses on the market. So that 175 homes is going to kind of lower the market, which you'll see it. The big decrease was the median in these last 7 days of houses being listed is at 625 compared to our total active inventory, which is at 699. Now, I say that because it's also very important. If you're putting your house on the market right now, it's going to be highly, highly important that you compare what you're putting at it compared to, I say, your threats, the other houses that are on the market, the other opportunities for other buyers. How does that compare? Well, these sellers that are hitting the market, they might be taking, that might be why our median house number is going down. So that means there's a lot more houses under that price. And that's a big substantial to go from $699 to $625, we're talking $78,000. That's a big drop too. So then let's go. And here's the thing too, is if you guys have any comments and you're following me, feel free, if you want to know more information, drop it in the comments. I'll see it after. I might be able to answer it here on the spot to kind of give you a little bit more information. Also, if you want some clarity, love to have that. If you're also watching and you're gaining value from this, I'd really, really appreciate it. It's always great to have a share. So if you'll just share this, say this is live, let someone else know, I'd appreciate that very, very, very much. So with that being said, and once again, my name is Danielle Marie. I'm from the One Realty here in Austin, Texas, if you are just joining me now. With that being said, interest rates went up, way up. I mean, we weren't expecting, we knew they were kind of going up. Now we're almost back to 7%. It kind of looks like it's like what happened last year. Now, historically, now we're like less than 2 weeks away from those election. Historically, regardless of party, and there was only one time that it hasn't happened, that was after the election around 2008, we have seen rates drop down. Now, rates have typically dropped down after the election, regardless of any party. Is that going to happen? I don't know. We don't have crystal balls. I can tell you what we've seen in the past. Do I have a crystal ball that's going to happen again in the future? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, maybe not. I don't have one. But I can just tell you the trends that we have seen in the past. And that's the biggest thing, is that if any agent is going to tell you that it's going down or this is going to happen in the market, no one can tell you what is going to happen. We can tell you what historically has happened. We can also tell you what has become favorable in this market that kind of looks like it may happen as well. It could potentially happen in the future, but we're going to base on historical data as well as what is currently, and not just numbers, but also what was happening at the economy at that time. So let's go into our numbers that are pending. So we talked about it already. We talked about the fact that we had 6 more houses go pending this week, and we were at 153 houses that went pending. Sorry, this week it was 15 to 21 October. So keeping that 7-day span. If we look at from 8 to 14, it was 147. Now keep in mind, if we actually look back at the beginning of September, we were around 124. So if you look at it in that perspective of where we were at the beginning of September to today, the fact that we have more significant increase in houses pending or going pending week over week compared to September, that's a good sign. What I think happened too is I think when rates did drop, it kind of kicked some people back into the playing field. Not necessarily that they were waiting, the rates were the factor to move them, but I think it did. I think it encouraged some people out there to do it. So with that being said, our under contract, if we look at week over week, and it's a little bit past it, which kind of makes me upset that I did this way, but it was 812 houses are currently pending. When I actually checked the numbers on Monday, it was 820. So it was a little bit higher, but this is really good because we were in the mid 700s when we were in September. So before those rates dropped down, we were in the mid 800. So good to see us back over 800. Would love to see us back over 1,000. We just kind of to eat away some of the inventory, because our inventory here in Austin, we're at the 2,900 homes. That's still more than we've had on the market since it was like 2016. So it's been a significant amount of time that we have this many homes on the market. Now, for those under contract homes, and this is where I say is we have these medians of list price and all this. It doesn't really matter. What matters is what houses go pending. What are those houses? What are the prices? What are people buying at? And so for our under contract houses, now this is way closer. Our average house is $789,000. So of those 812 homes, 789,000 was the median. Our average. Our median was 600,000. So our median significantly dropped down. And as far as if you're comparing like what is under contract, so 600,000 was the median price of the homes being, being sold. And so our active median is 699, but our houses going under contract is at 600,000. It's 599 for 600,000. So our 789, our average was the same as last week. Our median, we went down to 599. Last week it was at 600,000. So only down by one. Now, how about days on market? So a lot of times, if you are especially my investors that are out there, and also, even new buyers, to understand when you're making an offer, one of the biggest things that you're going to look at is your days on market, because days on market is going to tell you how likely that seller is to accept a lower offer, as well as if you're a seller, it's going to be really important to say, okay, I've been on the market for this long. What's happening? What's not happening? Where does my days on market put me in relationship to the mass houses? Now, keep in mind, this is not for each individual area in Austin. I'd say within a mile, 2 miles of a specific house that you're looking at, this data is not going to apply to you. And the reason I say it's not going to apply is you really have to compare apples to apples. You can't compare it to the whole macro market. We really have to compare it to the micro market that you're looking at. So you can use this as general information. However, if you are making an offer on your house and I'm helping you with your offer on your house, we're looking for within plus or minus 20% of the square footage. We're looking within a 1 mile or 2 mile radius, depending on the size of the lot. And we're going to find that, and we're going to look at what those numbers are for that house to make your offer or to list your house, because that's really, really the important part. So with that being said, our days on market, we didn't talk about this for our active homes. Our average is 92. So it's almost 3 months. So the average house on the market has been on for over 3 months. Our median is 70. So just over 2 months is the median house. So houses are sitting longer. If we look at those houses that are under contract, we should expect them to be lower. Our under contract, they are. It's at 73 is our average, and our median is 48. So give or take between that, it's 21, a little over 3 weeks difference that you're going to see between the two of them. So it does say what that just shows is if it's a good house hits the market, it's still going to go quick, because there's houses that are bringing down those medians and those average because they're going quick. Finally, let's throw into the close. So we talked about our active. We have over 2,900 homes. It's down, but we have over 2,900 homes. Our under contract, 812. We're up from September, but we're still not at pace of where we are historically, whether it's looking at last year, or actually even years past. We are still significantly down. So let's look at what's closed in the past 30 days. So I do bigger days, 90-day segments when we're trying to find comparables. But when we're really looking for changes in the market, going back 90 days isn't going to help as much, especially if I'm continuously comparing it week by week. So if we're looking at a 90-day time frame, what we're going to see on a 30-day time frame. So we have had 557 houses close. So 557 houses have closed here in the past 30 days. Now, that's down. Compared to year over year, that's going to be down. So with that being said, what houses are selling? So the average price of a house that's going under contract, it didn't change. It's actually the exact same for the average and median as last week when I did this. So the average sales price was $818,000. So if you look at our list prices, our average list price last week was like 1.17 million. This week with our average, we're at the 1.17 million. There was no change either. With that being said, our average sales price is $818,000. Our median sales price, 625,000. So when we talk about houses, we talk about them just because this is the average house doesn't mean you can't find one in Austin. Well, our median house being sold in Austin is 625. It's less than what is being listed. That's also showing that the market is kind of trickling down. So as we see it, sometimes I can't talk. I get very excited. It's okay. I am a nerd for numbers. I love numbers. So I'm not just going to go in. I'm not just going to show you a pretty house. We're not just going to list your house at any old price. We're going to dive into the numbers, and I really, really like numbers. So that's what you're seeing here. With that being said, looking at the numbers and looking at what is closed, our days on market, it's expected. It should be lower than our pending. It should be lower than our active if we're seeing the market going down. If we see the market going up, you're going to see the opposite. You're going to see houses moving quicker and not staying on the market as long. So, but our average number of days for houses on the market that have sold here in Austin, our average number of days was, I just put this out here, 62. So the average was 62. So under both of those, so about 2 months was the average a house was on the market. The median a house on the market was 51 days. Now, how does that compare to last week's? Well, up 2 days for our average, up 3 days for our median. We are still continuing to see an increase in the days on market. We are getting into those winter months. It's going to happen. That is normal. The only way we're going to see kind of a couple things. One of the big ways that we're going to see a jump down in those numbers is either A, when they start withdrawing houses and putting them on hold, you're going to start seeing those numbers disappear and go down. So it's not necessarily always that they're getting eaten up faster. It's what's happening. Or two, you're going to see a lot of new listings hit the market, it's going to pull those numbers down as well. So two different ways to look at it. So next with that, let's look at what our close price to list price. Now, this is one of my favorite, if I was to say the numbers that my buyers and sellers that I love to look at is we're going to look at what is the percentage and what is happening in the market. So our close price to list price, so what it's currently listed, not what its original price, but what it's currently listed at. Houses on average are going for 96.73%. So you're looking at like a 3.25% under asking is what kind of the average is. Our median is at 98%. So houses on average are going for 2% under their current list price, not what the original listed, but the current list price. So I take that into effect when we're looking at houses and we're making offers. I'm also looking at min and maxes. I'm also looking at what's the lowest a house has gone for. What is the highest the house has gone for? Especially when we were during those COVID lockdowns, we're having multiple offers. That was very important because you want to see if I'm making an offer and I'm making a list over a list price and houses are going crazy over list price. I don't want to go, and this has happened, I don't want to go 25% over list price if the most in that area has been 12% over list price. We're really going to dive in. And I say that, and it sounds crazy, but it did happen. And people were just shooting huge numbers out. So because they want to beat the other offers, well, if you're going to beat the other offer, let's take a look at that data to also compare how to beat the offers. So our close price to original list price. So what did the house start at compared to what was it selling for compared to its original list price? So we saw that the average was about 3.75% or 3.25% under its current price. For the average, the median was about 2%. If we look at original list price, it's at 91.66% is the average. So we're talking like almost 8.5% under the original list price is what the average house is being sold for. Now, if we want to look at the median is at 93%. So the median house is going for 7% under list price. Are there houses that go 15, 18, significantly under? Yeah, absolutely. There are houses that go significantly under there, but I'm going to tell you what the median and the average is, because that's really going to help if we're making an offer to kind of figure out where your offer should fall, what is normal. At the same time, that's for people that want to buy. Now, do you have some investors that we call make disrespectful offers in the sense that they go significantly low because they just want to see if they can? Yeah, absolutely. They are not necessarily worried about the data. It's just them making an offer, and that's kind of like, okay, that can happen. These are kind of realistic numbers. This is also for sellers. Sellers, you need to be realistic on the offers that are coming in. If you're getting an offer that is maybe 5% of the original list price and you've been on the market for, the average days on market is 91. Let's say you've been on the market for 120 days and you have a 5% of the original list price, you really need to start looking at your numbers to see, because that might be a good offer in the sense. And that's also why you're also going to continue to update your comparables and continue to update what is around you. So With that being said, if you're just joining me now, feel free to give me a follow. Also love for you to comment, let me know what your thoughts are in the area, or save this, because that actually really helps me too in the algorithms here on X too. If you save this or you repost it, it helps me. So even if you don't want to repost this, save this. It's going to help me get discovered out here. I say on X, or even in YouTube, or if you're watching from Instagram, to help me out there. With that being said, let's look at the final thing. Let's look at where we are here in October of 24. Let's compare it to where we were last year. And these are the final numbers for last year, so we're not going to get the full picture till the end of October, but hey, we're on the 24th. We only have 6 days left in the month. So if we look at now where we are in October, so October to date, we've only closed 389 homes. Now, if we compare it to last year, we closed 601 homes. So compared to last year, we are at 212 homes. I just did quick math in my head. I hope I did it right. 212 homes compared to where we were last year at a closing. So do I think that we're going to close 212 homes between now and the end of the month? Probably not. I said last week when I was on, I think that we'll close here for the city of Austin, single family homes will be in the 500s. Expect to see that. It's going to be, you're going to see all over the news, media, but here's the thing is you're hearing it first because I'm looking at numbers first. I'm not waiting till the final publication is, because I'm looking at what's pending, what we're seeing coming in for sales, everything like that. We have seen an increase in number of houses going pending. I really think that we're going to have a surprise November, as far as I think that our closed number of sales in November is probably going to be higher than this month, than October, just because of the new houses that we got under contract when interest rates were down a little bit. So interest rates, with that being said, interest rates went up. We might have had more buyers, but we still saw more action. So there are people that all of a sudden just got spurred to action, and they did. With that being said, for our October of 24, we're at 389. Now, our average sales price right now for October, we're at 842,000 as our average. How does that compare to last year? Well, last year we're at 808. So we're still looking at having an increase in our sales price from last year. Unless something substantially changes, our year over year is going to be a slight increase, not any dramatic increase, but it's going to be a slight increase. If we looked at where we were in September, we closed out at 789. So we're going to probably see this year, that was our final numbers for in September. What we're also going to see is our median. So our median this year, we're at 624. Our median last year was 609. We're going to be very close. Now, our average might be higher, but our median might come in very close. It could potentially go in under. If we look at days on market, we're at 69 and 53 this year. Last year, we were at 59 and 40. So our days on market is more. We've expected that. The biggest thing, so we have our prices were still a little bit higher than last year for our closed prices. How are we doing in closed price to original list price? Well, let me tell you this, as I'm looking at them right now, they're very similar, very similar. I'm talking like not even a full percent, because we were at 96.38% is our closed price to list price, our average. For this year, we're at 96.95%, so slightly higher last year. Our closed price to list price, the median, we're at 97% this year. Last year was at 98%, so a little bit stronger last year. And then if we look at closed price to original list price, both of them last year was at like 91.17 this year, 91.81% for last year for closed price to original list price. But if we want to look at what our closed price to original list price, we want to look at our median. So our median this year, we're at 93. Last year, we're at 94. So there's like a 1% difference is what we're seeing. And that can kind of go back, if you go back to what our list prices are over 1% difference. So that's probably where we're seeing it. So we're seeing our prices very, very similar to last year as far as like where they're finally closing out. We're not going under from last year. So it's kind of steady. People that expect some of the big flips to make a lot of money, we're not seeing that this year. Now, with that being said, we are significantly, once again, for production standards, significantly under. So last year was a really rough year in October. I mean, I think our historical average were around like the 800 something is where we historically close out in, I think it was like 864. I have to pull that up. But our historical number for where we close out in October is normally in the 800s. This year we're at 389. I mean, we have been underperforming throughout the year at like a 60% of what our average is as far as the number of houses closed. So with that being said, appreciate you for joining me today. And what I want to say with this is, yes, we've seen the interest rates did not dramatically increase. It gave us a little bit of a kick in the butt, but there wasn't any dramatic increase over week. It kind of just, we've steadily increased it. Now, it will be interesting because this next week is the first week we don't have ACL, Austin City Limits, which is a huge, huge music festival. We have 75,000 plus people going downtown Austin all the time. We're not having F1 in here this weekend. So really curious to see if this next week is a little stronger. The only caveat would be because interest rates were almost back up at 7% again, to see if that kind of played into it. And I know the other thing that I'm hearing is people are waiting for after the election. They just want to see what happens. They have so much uncertainty, and I get it. So, but with that being said, if you are looking to buy or sell, I'm of the mindset that you need to take your time. You don't need to take your time, but it's nice that if you have a little more education and information. So if you are looking to buy or sell in Austin, let's talk strategy. Let's talk your long-term plan. Let's talk about the market, what's happening in the market, and what is right for you. So with that, my name is Danielle Marie. I'm from the One Realty here in Austin, Texas. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of the day. Yes, I'm wearing a coat. It is like in the 80s outside, but my office here in East Austin gets a little bit cold. I like to be warm out here, but hope y'all have a wonderful day, and feel free to reach out. You can DM me, find me on at the _1_realty over on X. You can also find the website, www.theonerealty.com. Would love to hear from you. Please save this to help everyone else see this, but I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.